So what do they call you?
They call me Baby Sporty. I'm from Harpies. Uh, I'm an open book. Go ahead.
What are you
Put me on
incarcerated
record.
for? What are you incarcerated for, sir? And how long is your sentence?
Oh, well, this is the thing, right? I got 28 years for 3 attempted murders, and it broke down like this. I got my base term is about 12 years. I got 10 years for a gun, and then I got 7 years for a GBI. But
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
since I caught this case when I was a youth, I was like 24. And they're allowing me youth offender parole. So since my mind wasn't fully developed to think like an adult and rationalize, they're giving me a chance to see board at 15 years and more than likely go home.
That's good, man. That's very good to hear. Hey, where'd you grow up here? Where'd you grow up out here, Max?
I grew up in the West Side. Actually, I was back and forth. My mom stayed in Highland Park. My dad stayed in the West Side, so I was back and forth my whole life, so I know a lot of people.
And you said that you were associated with the Harpies gang?
Yeah, I'm from Harpies, yeah. I got into Harpies 2007.
Before we even start this little interview, Max, I want to go ahead and express my gratitude towards you. I want to go ahead and say thank you, Max. Thank you for allowing me to be able to share your story and asking you these questions. I know sometimes it can be hard to open up a little bit, but I just want you to know, man, it's an open book, man. This is your video. Feel free to talk about whatever you want. The only thing that will be edited out is cuss words, man. But, for the most part, feel free.
Right. Oh, yeah, no. I understand completely. Thank you. And I want to reciprocate that gratitude because, I feel like it's important people know that, how they say there's 3 sides to a story. The first side, the second side, and the truth, and, I think it's important people know that, there's more to a crime than the actual incident itself, like there's an after and a before, and, there's, I just wanted to get that out there, because I feel like when I went to court, my story wasn't really told. And I'm not right here asking for a second chance or nothing like that, but I just think it's cool that I got to clear out the air. I'm pretty sure people will have some questions and stuff like that, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can you start off by telling us about your childhood and what your upbringing was like? And perhaps did you go through anything traumatic that changed you mentally or emotionally or anything like that, sir?
Well, all for my life. So I grew up like most people in Los Angeles, heavy police presence, gang-infested neighborhoods. My mom, she was single at the time. I was back and forth with my mom, my dad, so they broke up before I was born, or like when I was like 8 months. I guess he got caught cheating on her, so it was a little difficult coming up because my mom still had unresolved emotions about that whole situation, but she had to be strong, she had to keep moving, and ultimately she had to do it on her back, I have 5 sisters, a little brother, and it wasn't easy for her, but, like, I grew up in a house full of women, being a little boy, you see, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm grateful for that, because in the end, like, I see that as a blessing, because I learned a lot about respecting women. I grew up with insight. They challenged my mind. They allowed me to ask questions, and I feel like I don't know, like I just ordered the world, But yeah, growing up, all back and forth. So I saw my mom struggle. My dad, like he mistreated my mom a lot. So my sister grew up with that. That animosity towards him, but my mom didn't want to deprive me of the privilege of growing up without a father, so we would trade back and forth, and I don't really want to. It's not that I don't want to, but I grew up like everybody else in the system, mom chasing me around, mom having to be on welfare, not having no money, waiting for the county checks. When I lived with Pops wasn't around, so we'll go like 2 years without lights or hot water or anything like that, surviving off cup noodles, so I feel like I was predisposed to getting into harpies because I mean, no kid wants to grow up like that. I mean, some people might think it's appealing to advertise that kind of lifestyle and stuff, but in the moment, no kid wants to grow up like that, and I mean, well,
Where did
I don't know
the
how else to
transition
put.
come from, though, Max? Where did that little transition come from? Growing up, playing video games, watching cartoons, Simpsons, and Ed and Eddie and whatnot, to slowly
Yeah.
gravitating towards these gangs and kicking it with the homies and thinking
Okay.
about
Well.
tattoos and whatnot.
Oh well, that's kind of an interesting story, right? So, I mean, I think the year's like 2003. In 2003, I started getting in trouble at school. My teacher spoke very highly of me. I was gifted. I skipped a couple grades. But I used to get in trouble. And I was lazy. So I would try to do the minimal work. I'd do my homework in class the day I'm supposed to turn it in and just crumple it up, put it on my backpack and make it seem like I just found it. But they started giving bad notes on me. So my dad kind of caught wind of it, and he told her like, "Well, look, he's acting that way because you're a woman. He's walking all over you. So give him to me, and I'll turn him into a man." So my mom, reluctant, she did it, but so I go with him to live full time. And when I get there, keep in mind my dad's self-made. He was a little baller. He was a little paisa baller. He had transmission shops, a branch of transmission shops all over South Central and stuff. 48 in Arlington, Crenshaw and Jefferson. I think he had one on 8th Ave in Crenshaw or Jefferson. So he had most of the time to devote to that. So when I got there, I was by myself. Basically, like I had to feed myself. Nobody was on me about going to school. I lived with my two sisters and my younger brother, and what are you doing? There's no food at home.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
There's no food at home, and me and him started bumping heads immediately. He hadn't even enrolled me into school, so me and him started bumping heads immediately, and his solution was get out of my house. I don't want to see you right now, or he'll fuck me up. Like he was a little brutal, he didn't really, but I understand, he grew up different, I guess that was his way of trying to discipline me, but yeah, he kind of went overboard with it. So, I would leave gladly, and I didn't have nowhere to go. So, I grew up on 22nd in Vermont, so Hoover Park is just down the street, and I didn't have nothing to do but walk around the neighborhood with a backpack. I couldn't go home. My dad was going to beat my ass, so I started walking around the neighborhood little by little until the neighbors started familiarizing themselves with me. And I would wave, and they would wave back, and little by little people started seeing me around, and people I hadn't seen before, and well, that's how that happened, because I was young. People saw me, how do I say, like, I'm not, I was open. To try new things, and I didn't hesitate. And they target that type of stuff. Like individuals target that type of behavior. And the little homie Max is with the business. The little homie Max is down, or tell little Max. And my neighborhood's been around since the 50s. So I want to say 1953, August 27th, 1953 is when this whole heartbeat shit got put together. At Hoover Park, and there's always been a strong gang presence at that park. That's our park. So I would go summer night lights, I'll go kick it at Hoover Park, and I became familiar with the gang members around me, and people knew I had a fucked up situation. So I mean, I feel for the most part they embraced me, like they were embraced once upon a time, and I started going to basketball games at the park, and the homies will be right there, gang deep. It'll be our turn to play. I'll be seeing them tuck guns underneath their shirts and play the little 3-on-3, and when you're a kid, that stuff attracts you, so, that's just the beginning of it, everything else, I was a tagger. I was from BHS. It was Buddha heads, but it developed into baby harpies because well, the homies didn't like taggers in the hood. It gave way for something to grow other than harpies. So the homies didn't like that, and that was eliminated quick. That was nipped in the bud. So if you were a tagger and you were in the hood, you were getting moved on quick. You're either getting moved on or you're getting put onto harpies. There's only two options. You're either gonna stop tagging, get the fuck out, or you're gonna get put on harpies. But other than that, this was right here, and that's what it's gonna be, you know. So, they didn't treat me like that. They didn't treat me like that. You know, everybody else was older than me. I was like, what, 12 at the time. Everybody was 22, 23, 19, you know. And I felt like I wasn't treated like a kid, you know. So when that time came about, you know, they played it perfectly. I never felt like I was rushed. I never felt like I had to make a decision. It was just, it came down to every time I'd be in trouble in the hood, somebody will pop out. Boom. A darky, Chino, somebody will pop out and save my life. And I was in debt to them. Like, I'm a little kid, you know, I'm small. I'm like 5'5". I'm 5'5", 160 pounds right now. But before, I was like 100 pounds, 90 pounds, 5'3", you know. So, yeah, I was indebted to them, you know, like, they'll protect me. And
What do you mean almost lost your life?
before I knew it. Huh?
What do you mean that you almost lost your life? Why are you indebted to these individuals? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, because, you know, I'll be small. I'll be small, and we'll be kicking in some apartments, and people would, like, just small little things, like, people would come out, like, the owners in there, and they'll see us little kids, they'll try to bully us, like, get the fuck out of here, you kids can't be here, or I'm keeping your guys' bikes, shit like that, get the fuck out of here, don't come back, or, you know, try to beat us up, and the homies will come out of nowhere, like, hey, check this out, hey, go get your bike. And I'll be like, oh, well, that fool got my bike. And he's like, well, go get that shit. And he's standing right in front of him. Go get your bike. And I feel like, man, what? And the homies would beat these fools up or, you know, fucking rob these fools. They give my homie his bike back. Give me everything that they got in their pockets. And, you know, like, I felt safe. You know, nothing was ever going to happen to me. You know, I was in my hood. And you know, there came a time, I never knew I wanted to be from Harpies. I never knew that.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I just loved it. I loved going up there. You know, the homies were cutthroat. Like, well, the area was big, so there was nowhere I couldn't really go. Don't go on that side because the homies are right there, or these are right there. Nah, the hood was big. So, I mean, I loved going up there. And one day, me and my friend, we ditch. We go to Topelman Park in the Pico Union District. You know, that's if you're not familiar, that's Drifter, Burlington, 18th Street. You know, you can see it coming around the 10 freeway. But it was pretty big. So, you know, he was just as passionate about his area as I was about mine, and he wants to go to Topelman Park. I had never been there, you know, but for people who don't know, it's ghetto in that area. Super ghetto, you know. There's riding everywhere all over the apartments. It's dirty. You know, there's a bunch of loose dogs there. Little kids everywhere, you know. Eloteros, kids running around barefoot. And so we put up to Topelman Park. And there's a little continuation school on the side of it. And I guess these people are in their PE period. So for PE, since it's a small school, I guess they would go for physical education at the park. So, you know, we're young. We're like 12 years old or something like that. 11, something like that. And we sit down, and like I said, I never knew I wanted to be from Harpies. Like, but these people started expressing themselves like, oh, where do you guys stay at? Oh, we stay on 22nd in Vermont. And, you know, keep in mind, my friend grew up in Pico Union District. So he's just as adamant about expressing his hate towards my homies like they are. So they're like, you know, F the Hershey's, you know, you guys are in the Hershey's. Oh, F the Hershey's, you know, the Hershey shot my dad. And another guy's like, oh, the Hershey shot my brother, or the Hershey shot my brother-in-law, you know. And I'm like, damn, you know, everybody's expressing their hate towards the neighborhood, but because the homies got their foot on everybody's neck, you know, like, the homies don't play. So once they said that, I felt like a little anger inside of me. And I couldn't explain it. I didn't know why. But I didn't like them talking about Harpies like that. It offended me. But I was a smart kid. I knew that would be stupid of me to say anything, get beat up by everybody, especially when I'm not from Harpies and I haven't even expressed to them that I want to be from there. But that's what gave me the idea at first. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm a little sad, but I'm not saying nothing. And then some of the guys from Burlington come over, you know, come to the park. and they're like, they kind of had, people are smart back then, they kind of start associating me with the harpies already. So long story short, I get beat up at that park. And the guy who brought me there, he doesn't even have my back. So I was a little upset, but I came back and I was like, like, I'm safe here. Why did I go over there? I'm not safe over there, but I'm safe here. That would have never happened over there. That would have never happened in Hoover Park. My homeboys would have never done that to me. So it started clicking in my head. Don't leave. This is home. Anywhere else is not good for you. So I adapted to my community a little deeper, in a deeper sense now, because now I'm identifying myself with them. Like, oh, well, I'm safe here. These are my homeboys. These are my homies. And people knew I didn't have nowhere to go. And it started off like, I'll see the homeboys, and they'll be like, hey, what are you doing right here? At Christmas, my dad wouldn't let me inside the house on Christmas. And if my sisters opened the door, they'd get beat up and thrown out too for opening the door for me. I had nothing coming. I have no presents. I had no food. And I'm in a dead end. I live in a dead end, and my neighborhood's infested with dead ends because of the freeway. So I'm looking at my sisters through the door, and they're crying. They're crying, and they're like, "Well, I want to let you in, Like, are you hungry? I want to give you some food." And my dad's tripping. You want to give that food? Food? All right. Well, give them the food. It's going to come out of your mouth because you're not going to get, squat after that. You got nothing coming. I'll throw your present out right now. And I'm like, I don't want to get my sister in trouble, so it's cool, I go post up in front of the liquor store. The liquor store right there, it's not owned by him anymore, but it was a famous liquor store back then. Bunch of liquor on 24th and Magnolia, and that was infested. Harpies infested, from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, well, I went to go post up there. My homeboy Darky, he's on the street. So he sees me there on Christmas, and he pulls up, checker shorts, loafers, big ass sweater, D hat. He's like, "What's up? What are you doing right here?"
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I had only kicked it with him like 2 or 3 times before that, and he's like, "What's up? What are you doing right here?" "Oh, nothing." He's like, why ain't you with your family at Christmas?" Like, "Oh, well, my dad's tripping, He's like, "Yeah." And I hear him moving around, and I can hear the lacquer, the little lacquer ball and paint. I hear the spray can moving around. And he's like, "Hey, do me a favor, come with me real quick, yeah?" And he's like, I just need somebody to watch my bag. I felt proud, So this man's trusting me with his life right now. That's how I saw it. He's trusting me with his life. He wants me to watch his back. So we push. It's like 10 of the night. We push. Crossing the street, there's a big-ass empty lot across well, they built a Domino's and stuff now, but before it was empty. And there's an alley behind that lot and a big-ass wall to some apartments. At the time, the Cuatro Flats are coming through, Cuatro Flats try to branch off and become a neighborhood on the west side. But and the homies are giving him the blues, and he goes and he hits the whole wall, like letters 6 feet tall, and it goes long. He goes dead end, 13 harpies, Mr. Killer Flake, and I thought that was hard. Like, damn, the homie's really out here, and I'm with him. So we start pushing back up 25th, and we go back to the liquor store. He hits a couple spots, and he's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do right now?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna just post up right here." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not telling you have to, but if you want, my mom made some jaiba flautas. I don't know if you want to come post up and whatnot. My doors are open to you. And I was like, I hadn't ate nothing, so I was like, yeah, for sure. So I pull up. I always saw him around. People told me not to hang out with him. He was cutthroat. But here this man was extending every courtesy he had to me, I felt grateful, He gave me something to eat. He gave me a sweater. I'm on his front porch. He's on the phone with his girl. He's talking to me and his girl at the same time. I'm eating a jaiba. And while he's talking to his girl, he's talking to me, and he's like showing me his gang tats. He had a 2 on 7 on the other. He's like, I'm for 27. He had a big HPS from his shoulders to his waist on his back. And he just, I'm in awe, and after that, I was sprung. Like, damn, I want those tattoos too, Like, man, this was a real Hoover Park product, and I started venturing into different sides of the neighborhood because, you know, my husband, we had different cliques. So I started becoming familiar with other harpies and how they conduct themselves. And no matter how different they were, or one was dark, one was light skinned, one was short, one was tall, one was for 28, one was for 39. It didn't matter. At the end of the day, their values were the same, and they were all turned up. They were all turned up. You know, they weren't letting that this is home, and they're protecting it at any cost. You know, like, and I respected that. And little by little, you know, people set their eyes on me, and oh, what's up, little Max? Man, what's up, little Max? When you get put on the hood? And that was the golden question, you know, like, tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow, and tomorrow will never come, you know. But you know, one day, my homie Blackie paroles. He got harpies on his forehead from hairline to hairline, eyebrows to lineup. He got a 27 on. He's all blasted up. And I'm taking him with my friend. He comes out, and he jumps in the car. He's on GPS. And I thought that was crazy. Like, man, this is on GPS. Like, oh, yeah, that's the homie Blackie. They got to know where he's at all times. So that was just a fool, you know? And I'm like, damn. So he jumps in the car. He looks at me. The homie Porky whispers something into his ear. He just, like, got the car, like, hey, fool, what's up? You want to get put on the hood? And I had never really told anybody, like, yeah, I want to do it. I would just play around, like, yeah, tomorrow, you know? And I looked at him, and I know this is not an individual you want to lie to. And I told him, like, yeah, I do. And he's like, all right, you got a pen? I'm like, nah. He's like, get this number down. Call this number. And I go, all right. He's like, are you ready? Call this number. I write the number down and start pushing back. My homie Stalker pops.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When my homie Stalker pops out of nowhere, he starts, at that time I hadn't known him yet. So he pops out of some apartments and he starts trying to trip on me because I'm banged out. I got a Dodge jacket, all types of stuff. And he starts trying to trip on me. Like, what's up? Why you all banged out in the hood? What's up with your socks? Why are you so high? Where you from, fool? And my homie told him, like, hey, chill. This was going to get put on the hood, you know? And he's like, man, who'd he talk to? He's like, Blackie. And he did a 180, 360 and just walked off like, oh, yep, he's going to get put on. And I was like, all right. And after that, it became like everybody started tripping. Like, no, I want to put him on. No, I want to put him on. Oh, I want to put him on, you know? And everybody was fighting over me like, oh, no, I want to put him on. No, he's going to be my little homie, you know? And I ended up getting into RP, but it took a couple times. Like, you know, my homies they're killers, you know? So I got put on 23rd and Union in the back of my homie local, so I get put on 23rd and Union. I guess some people weren't there, so they didn't find it valid. Now you got to do it again. So I go to the park, 2 minutes apart. Yeah, some individuals weren't there, so it's not valid. We go to a barbecue and, you know, a gang of the older homies are there, you know? Like, I'm talking about, like, you know, fools from, like, the 70s, 80s, like, fools that were really killing shit, you know? Like, and they're like, man, if he's really going to be from Hartford, you're going to put him on right here. And I was, like, this close to just being like, man, F this, you know? I'm good, you know? But I felt it in my heart, and I was like, man, you know what? Come on, let's get this out the way. And that's how that came about, you know? Well, I had already started losing friends before this situation, you know? I knew this was serious immediately. Like I said, the homies are killers, you know? There's a reason why this piece of territory is so big and why it's been passed down from generation for so long, you know? Like, they teach you immediately, like, hey, this is no joke, you know? You can't just get put onto harpies and then not show up the next day or think you're going to have a family day or none of that. There's none of that. You got put into harpies, you don't show up, the homies are pulling up to your house, knocking on your door, smashing you in front of your mom. Guess what? Hey, your mom's trying to, like, scream, hey, get you out the way. They're not having none of that. You fucked up. You made it. I'm sorry. You messed up. You made this decision. You know, this ain't no joke. You got put on now. Guess what? Now they're going to put you on the block. We're going to beat you up again. You're going to smoke a blunt with a bloody-ass lip. Posted. They can never do that again. Like, this is something serious. They don't play, you know? Yeah, you know, like, and I always just, like, that's what caught my attention even more. Like, man, this is serious, you know? And, like, these individuals are committed. Like I'm committed. Like, and if you don't think I am, I can commit, you know? And, like, show me. Like, and, you know, everybody loves me, you know? Everybody takes me quick, you know? Everybody has their moments where they're in the hot seat for a second, and, you know, they're going at it with the homies, but one thing they teach you is never turn your back. Don't ever leave, no matter how hot it is, because you never turn your back on home. And once you turn your back on your home, you don't have a home. So, I mean, it teaches you, like, hey, you know, hey, yeah, it's messed up, but you have to post up, you know, take it out. You made a decision. And I grew up losing friends, like my homie Panda, rest in peace, you know. Brian Verde Soto, he died 2000. And I want to say he died 2000. I know he was 18. And Little Man had just came out.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Have you heard of Little Man with the Wayans Brothers, where he's a little baby and he's singing the diamond? Yeah, okay, well, that was playing at the Magic Johnson Theater. And I had a friend down the street, his name was Gus. He was a little older. He was like, at the time, he was 25, something like that. You know, and we were keeping with him. And his uncle was a homie Rascal. His family, his sister was the homegirl Josie. Josie's tapped in. Her baby daddy was Boggle, you know, like it was, his family was really the hood, you know, so we're over there and we're agreeing to meet up at the theater. Like, all right, well, let's go watch that movie, all right. My homie Pandas are like, let me go to the pad, I'm shower up, I'm gonna iron my clothes, and then I'll call you guys. That's all right. I go to the pad, you know, all faded, I'll make you some waffles, and I hear, like, I'm in my kitchen, I hear some gunshots, and I was caught off guard, I didn't know what it was. I go to my front porch, and I see somebody laid out. I didn't on 22nd. I see somebody on the corner of 23rd laid out, banged out. I run over there. At the same time I'm running over there, everybody's coming out to the house, is running over there. And sure enough, it's my homie Panda, and he has holes the size of quarters all in his belly and his chest. And, you know, the homie's got there, you know, he died in front of my homegirl, Jessica's house. And they're asking him, like, hey, who did this? But he has big holes in his stomach and his chest. So naturally, you can imagine he's trying to talk, but the only thing that's coming out of his mouth is blood, and he's convulsing, he's shaking, you know, like it's a mess, you know. And he didn't get to relay any message. He just died right there on the spot. And that was one of my first friends I lost, you know. And that was somebody critical to my whole way of thinking, you know. I looked up to him, and you know, he taught me a lot. And he was my neighbor, and he lived in the dead and over. You know, we'll play with his dog, you know, I was a little kid, and I kind of took that one to heart, you know. But that's how it started, you know. But look, at the time, I'm trying to do. I meet a girl. You know. I'm with her. You know. I thought it was love. You know, my first love. And I'm telling you, like, I grew up with a lot of women, so I got the first-hand definition of respect. First-hand definition of respect and how it's executed. You know, women aren't to be played with. You know, they're not toys. They're not to be mistreated. You know. And so that's why I never had a girlfriend. I've had 3 girlfriends my whole life, and the third one right now, that's my wife. Like that's the love of my life. We're set to get married next month, on my 20th. You know, like and she's a blessing. She's a blessing. You know, she's been here for me the whole time. Granted, we've had our little ups and downs, and you know, she's had to go figure things out on her own. But I have nothing but love for that woman. You know, and she's a woman. Like wholeheartedly, I can say that she takes care of business and she takes care of hers. You know. And, you know, I love her, but at the time I'm with somebody else. I'm young. I'm going to have to go before a couple months to just explain this right. So I'm 19 at the time. I get this girl pregnant. I have a baby, my beautiful son, Max, you know. He's beautiful. And she stays in Watts. So I'm going to Watts and stuff. I start living with her, you know. I had the blessing of being able to watch my son born and grown up and teach him how to drink water.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
How to transition him from liquids to solids, how to change his pamper, like how to bathe him because he's a baby, you know, like, and all that to this day, that's something I cherish, like, with all of me, you know, with a deeper part of me. And things don't start going good between me and her. You know, like my baby mama, she liked to drink. She liked to drink, and I never had a girlfriend before that. Or like, yeah, one, you know, like in 7th grade, and that was like a 1 month relationship. But she played games with me when we first got together. So having her guilty conscience, she was always accusing me of stuff. And, you know, like, I explained to her, like, hey, I love you. If I didn't want to be here, or if I was planning on playing games, I wouldn't be involved with you, because that's not how I get down. I don't stay with people just to play games with them. Like, my time's too precious for that, you know. But no matter how much I told her, she still felt, you know, that little unease. There was no trust, but because of her, not because I ever did anything stupid. But I got tired of it. And long story short, you know, something happened. I can't really speak on that, but something happened. The cops go to my dad's house. They're ready for me. So I shake. Boom. I go to San Francisco. You know where that's at? Like IE, inmate. Well, I go out there. And yeah, I go out there because I have family out there, and I'm scared. Like, I don't want to go to jail. I ended up going to jail anyways for something similar. But I get there and I start building my life out there. And well, my family, they're Jehovah's Witnesses, so they're very anal. Like, I have a bunch of weed plants on my arm, you know, and their whole mentality is, do me a favor, don't walk around without your shirt, because you're soliciting drugs in my house, and this is the house of the Lord. So I had to walk around with my shirt, or my baby mama couldn't come, one of my sons could come, and I was missing her, you know, my baby mama couldn't come, and because we had a baby at a wedlock, that's fornication. So they don't condone to us being in the same bed. My son could come, but you know, I needed that support, and she wasn't able to give it to me because my family was real into the Bible. So I was real depressed, you know. And I thought, hey, well, what's one thing I could do to fix this? All right, well, I'll support my own family. I'll get a job, or I can marry her. And that way they can't keep her away from me, because that's my wife now. So at this time, I applied to Walmart. I get hired, you know, and I got my sights set on a better life, you know, like, all right, I'm going to support my family, and I'm going to move them out here with me, and nothing's going to get in the way of that. And I'm doing pretty good for the first 3 months. Everybody at work loves me. You know, I'm a hard worker. You know, I don't want to brag, or, you know, I don't mean this like in bad taste or nothing like that, but a lot of people like me. Everywhere I pull up, people like me. You know, I have a tendency to be charming or stuff like that, you know, charismatic and stuff, and people end up eating at the palm of my hand, and those are my intentions, you know. But, well, I'm a good dude, you know, so people like me. And you know, I grew up people over there, you know, I had tattoos on my face and stuff like that, but they didn't care about that. You know, I was Max, and I worked hard, and you know, they were behind me 100%. So, long story short, they put this girl to work with me. She got tatted on my face too, you know, like, and I felt offended. I was like, man, you know, why is she here? Like, you guys just put it right here because I'm tatted on the face. You know, I feel stereotyped right now. You guys are gonna put me with somebody else that looks like me because you guys think like what? Like, I don't want to work with her, you know, like, hey, I want to work with somebody who's gonna work. Like, but they're like, nah, well, you know, we gave you a chance, so give her a chance. All right. I started working with her. She's lazy. She don't want to do nothing. She's on her phone all the time, you know. I guess she had a job in the daytime from like 1 to 9, and then we worked at Walmart from 10 to 7 or something like that. And she likes to drink. Long story short, everybody, all the girls in that Walmart were on me. Everybody wanted a piece of me. But I carried myself with respect, and I knew, like, hey, well, I have plans. Stick to your plans, you know. So I wouldn't give them the time of day, and I guess that made them want me even more. So when this night comes, I like to drink.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
She's like, I got a beer in my bag. Like, what's up? And I'm like, all right, I'm sure. Right now we're going to go outside and we're going to drink, you know. And that becomes a thing. Me and her start drinking. She comes into work one day drunk, pulling out, you know, like pulling her stuff out her dress, trying to be alone and stuff. And I told her, like, hey, you know, chill. Like, you're drunk right now. Like, I started trying to get her dressed and get her composure back, but she's not having it. Like, man, I don't give a hoot, and I'm like, no, it wouldn't feel right to me, like I would have to be drunk too, or you'd have to be sober, but I'm not gonna do that with you. So she stopped showing up. One day she pulls up, and one thing leads to another. She takes me back to her pad, and I gave her the business, and now it's a regular thing. Now it's a regular thing, and I feel bad because I'm hiding it from my son's mom. I'm deterred. I'm straying from the plan, and now I'm straying away from my baby mama. I'm not answering her calls. Like, I'm always with this girl. Like, I can't pick up your calls. You're gonna be upset. You're gonna hear this girl. This girl's disrespectful. Like, and I find myself in a situation now because this girl ended up becoming a fatal attraction, and she's like, hey, if you don't, and I'll be like, what? And I didn't believe her at first, but I started becoming comfortable and I started going out there to LA, to see my kid and then come back. And I would come back, and sure enough, her legs would be butchered like if a tiger just mauled her, And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want this girl to kill herself, And it got real bad, and she started making problems. So now I got to get away from this girl without me going to jail for her suicide, So I'm like, damn, I really messed up right here, Like, long story short, I leave. I just up and leave one day. Boom, I up and leave, and I don't know how she got in contact with my son's mom, and she sent her a bunch of stuff, a bunch of videos, and it just broke my baby mama, and it broke the home. There was just no trust. There was no trust. She felt betrayed. Their love was lost. Moments we shared together, I shared with somebody else. So she couldn't let it go. And my son, he's small, and she feels a lot of animosity towards me. She hates me. On top of that, the alcohol's fueling her rage. She's upset. She can't stand me, and I don't know what to say. At the time, I don't even think I care. I'm just like, oh well, it wasn't me, I shaggied her. It wasn't me. Like, and she kicked me out. She kicked me out, and I went to what I knew, the streets. I went to the streets, and at the time, like I said, my mom lives in Highland Park, and then my dad lives in my neighborhood. So I go to my neighborhood for a little bit, I'm there for like 2 weeks, just running amok, and I always felt like my baby mama understood me. Like, she would know, like, she would look at me and she'd be like, you need to be out there, huh? Like, she understood, like, what I came from. I was a product of my environment, and she knew. She'd be like, yeah, go ahead, get your little 2-3 days in, go out there, do what you got to do, run around. But when you come back to me whole. I don't want you thinking, I don't want you daydreaming, I don't want none of that. And I'll be dipping around with the homies, tagging, we'll be doing, committing crime and stuff. I'll be getting high. And when I come home, like, she took care of me. As soon as I got home, take off all your clothes, she put it in the washer, make me get in the shower, come out, eat something, and then I can see my son. And, I respected her for that, but at the time, there's no more of that, Like, I try to make it work with her, and my brother-in-law, he's like I'm not gonna say he's like a mogul, but he's like a big deal in the fine dining community. So he offers me a job. I'm making a lot of money. I only work 3-4 days, 4-hour shifts, and I'm pulling like $1,200 every 2 weeks. And at the time, that's a lot of money, This is before inflation, all that stuff, And I go live with my mom, and I have a friend that to this day, like, I owe him my life. You teach somebody you give somebody a meal, he's grateful, but you teach him how to feed himself for the rest of his life, and he's indebted. Like, and that's what he did. Like, he showed me how to cook crack. We can I say that? Yeah, right. He showed me how to cook crack. He made sure I didn't need anything. He knew I was doing bad. He would pay for my haircuts, and he put me on my feet. And we get to go dope house. And I really don't want to say too much where it's at or any of this stuff going on, because my friend, he's still doing his thing, And so Now this is fast forward a couple months before my case. We're at a dope house and stuff. We sleep there, and it's just me, him, and another one of our friends.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
He ends up getting stabbed, so it's just right. So we're doing our thing, and I guess people start.
Hotel link.
Yeah, so we're living in a dope house, and it's calling negative attention because we're not where we're supposed to be. I'm with my friend, and at the time, well, I mean, he's tagging, he's a tagger, and well, he's balling out of control. So the people in the area saw that as he was an open target, and when people aren't making money and they see you making money, like people start getting jealous, and it inspires hate. That's when you really see an individual for who they're for. But that's going on all down the street for that dope house, and we don't even know this. People have been watching us. I meet the love of my life. I meet the love of my life. She's in that house with me too. We're spending a lot of time together. And she goes to work, and we get ambushed right there. Yeah, I don't even know if I should say this. Well, we get ambushed. And I got shot. They came. They tried to rob us, but I mean, they didn't do nothing. They didn't take nothing. I mean, but now my mind is just on war. Now I'm just thinking like survival, and it's happening everywhere. People are drawing down on us everywhere. I'm drawing down too. And it's crazy how it's just happening in broad daylight. This is just it's becoming an everyday occurrence. Shootouts. Stabbings, fights, everything, and it's just I felt like I was losing the grip of reality because that's real to us, That's real to us. To somebody like you, well, I mean, I'm not gonna make that assumption because I don't know how you grew up, and I don't mean no disrespect. But to somebody for you, that's not like a real quality of somebody's life. And that's something that, like a sport, like we chose to engage in that, but that's not real. Like these people want to do that. What's real is paying taxis, taking care of your kids, stuff like that. But we're over here trying to kill each other, over some money that we're making that they're not even entitled to. And I remember I told my mom, like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I love you, but I feel like they're gonna kill me. And if they kill me, I just want you to know that I died with a full heart, and I wasn't scared. And she's like, man, sit down, let me read you a Bible text. And I was like, all right. I'm on like real about God, She told me like how Jesus gets captured by the Romans, and they're torturing him, they're beating him up, and they're just abusing him. And the night before his execution, they let him out into the field, and he goes to pray, and he's so scared. She's like, you don't think he was scared? And I said, like, man, he was terrified. He was so terrified that he wept blood. He cried blood. That's how scared he was. Like begging to his father, like, don't let me die. I don't want to die. And she said, you know what happened? I was like, no. He said, he died. And I was like, what? That's not something I want to hear, But she's like, when it came time for him to go, all he asked was that when he died, he didn't die as a blasphemer. He didn't die fake. He died knowing that he played his role in his cause, to the fullest. And I just, man, that just blew my mind. I was just like, man, so I'm keeping that. I'm holding on to that. I'm walking around with crutches and a cane, like with my wife, we're moving around and stuff like that. Just one night, we're gonna go get tacos. I picked her up, her homegirl up. Her homegirl was like my co-defendant at the time, he was 14, and my wife at the time, her friend is 19, so she wants to blaze it, whatever. And I want to give my co-defendant some. I want to get some action with her, like, oh, he's, get him with an older girl, like. So I'm like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? I want to pick you up. They're like, all right. So I pick him up. He's in the backseat with her, with my girl. We're driving, and me and my girl are kissing at the red light, and some people are throwing signs at the car. And keep in mind, like, we're in the middle of just a cutthroat war right now. Like, I've already been shot. People have already been shot, and we're just on full alert. And today is the day that I just want to be with my girl. Like, I just want to get away from all that. I was already drinking with my homie's daughter's birthday, and I was drunk. And me and my wife were kissing, and my co-defendant tells me, like, hey, they're throwing signs at the car. And I turn around and I look and I see somebody that I knew. His name was Fat Boy. He was a neighbor when we had that dope house right there. He was our neighbor. And I was like, oh, what's up? And I threw a peace sign. But he's with a bunch of individuals that look sketchy, and they're flipping me off. Like, F you, like, and I'm like, what the hell? But the way I saw it was like, man, like, I'm in a badass whip. I got my fine ass wife right here, her homegirl in the back seat. Like, I'm about to take him to go eat tacos. I'm big smoking. I got a Henny bottle. Like man, you fool wish. Like, I got money. Like, you fool wish you could even just trade positions. I wasn't tripping. It was one of the few times I wasn't. And my co-defendant, he jumps out the car while he was moving, and he runs up to them. He runs up to him, and he's small. He's 14, so I bust a U-turn, and I get off the car and I start running after him because these guys are big. They look like meatheads, So I run after him, and I try to tell him, like, hey, this was a minor, like, leave him alone, And long story short, we're getting a fight. I start getting jumped, and my co-defendant just he just sat there watching. When in reality, I just jumped off to save him, And he sat there. He watched me get jumped by these three big ass fools. I start fighting the first fool first. Boom, he's on the sidewalk. I'm on the street. I start getting in. Boom, boom.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Somebody comes from behind me and grabs my shirt and spins me. Boom. I fall. Once I fall, these fools just start maxing me out. Boom, 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 boom. And I was drunk, I was drunk. I wasn't thinking, and I let off shots. And ultimately, I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. Like, I felt like I had to protect myself. And it's messed up how the story got painted because, like, if you see where all the bullets landed, like, you could tell I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. But, bullets got no names. They jump around, they ricochet, and people got hurt. And, all I could, it eats me up every day inside because Alejandra, if she's listening to this, like, my intentions were to ruin your life, Like, I know you went to the hospital and they tried to take the bullet out and you caught an infection. And I'm pretty sure now you have a scar. That's just an ugly reminder of bad things happen to good people at random times, And if she's out there, like, I just want to apologize to her. Like, I'm sorry. I never went there with intention to ruin your life. And I don't expect you to forgive me, but I just hope that you take into account how horrible I feel about that. You didn't deserve that. Nobody deserved that. And, that's what happened. I lasted 10 days. I didn't want to run. I didn't want to run because I feel like I needed to be held accountable for my actions, especially when, she got hurt and she didn't have anything to do with it, and I stayed in the area. And on the 11th day, 10/17, um, I go with my wife. We go have like a brunch and like some like a Mexican food place or like Guatemalan food or something like that. And she has to go into work early that day, so she goes into work. I already got rid of my car. I got rid of everything. I'm walking to my co-defendant's house. Like I didn't hold nothing against him, even though like I was disappointed in him and all this happened because of him. But I knew at the end of the day that I made the decision of kicking it with him. I made the mistake of thinking that he had my back, or the assumption that he was with the business. That's my mistake. I read him wrong. So I didn't hold anything against him. Like, he's a kid. What did I expect, Like, long story short, I'm waiting for my wife to get off work. I go outside to get some tacos. I'm drunk. Go outside to get some tacos. I'm getting some tacos, and before I know it, I was already surrounded. I got caught with a 45, some crack, like a half ounce of crack, a scale, $400. At first they told me I was wanted for questioning, but once they searched me and were taking me down to the station, and they found the crack, the gun, and they're like, "You're under arrest now." And I made a mistake of being cocky and being like, "Hey, well, I'm a bail out, so go ahead," And they had told